Dennis is a good man. What he was before, I cannot testify to. All I know is the interaction I've had with him, especially the 5 years I was the activities coordinator. And I truly believe in my heart Dennis is a good man.
To execute Dennis would be a crime on the part of the state because of the fact that Dennis has shown a remarkable change in his life, and he does so many things that helps other people. And he's not asking to be turned loose and set free on the world. He's not even asking that. He said, I'm willing to take my punishment. But in my opinion, his punishment would be paid better if it was paid out to other people in service to them.
I don't think that, that he'll himself fight this final stage of what he's going through. But for the sake of his wife and for the sake of the things he's involved in, like compassion and set free, and then I think he'd do everything he could to stay here.
Has a conscience, he has a moral about himself, and that he's willing to pay the price for what he's done. And so, I personally, I don't think he's pleading his case as far as himself goes. I want to plead his case for him, because he can be very beneficial to me and to the institution.
He told me, he said, I never killed anybody in my life, but I could have stopped it if I'd have been more observant. And he said, and I wasn't. And that's all he's ever said to me. Oh, yeah, he's definitely remorseful. You cannot get into the scriptures like Dennis has and not be remorseful. If you can do that, then Jesus Christ died for nothing. So, and no, he cannot talk about it without being remorseful.
And that as I've dealt with him through Bible studies and stuff, I know that he's remorseful. And he would like to undo, but he can't.
Oh, Dennis, I don't think that the man ever sat still. That he was involved in at least 2 of my programs, and he was in the background of a couple others. He worked full-time for the Set Free Ministries, and he was very active in the chapel programs. So I don't think the man had a moment to himself, which that's Dennis's way.
Anything that's been started in there, Dennis is almost at a part of starting. The hospice you knew about, that he was one of these people who founded that. The 4-H movement, he's part of that, which was a family-related thing. He's on the religious choir, and he's part of the Sunday morning fellowship at the services they have every Sunday morning. He's one of the leaders in that. It goes on and on. If you can think of a ministry in prison, he's part of it. He's always able and willing to help a fellow inmate who is having a problem. He'll talk to him, and he'll let a guy know that being mad and being disruptive is not the way to go. It's counterproductive.
This was one of the founding fathers of hospice at Potosi. I understand that other institutions had hospice programs, but ours was the best. It was the most encompassing of all the hospice programs. And Dennis not only was a founding father, but he was the spark plug that kept it moving. That we were dealing with inmates, and inmates always seeing us and them, between them and the administration. Well, I tried to teach my hospice workers that didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was that patient. And that's one of the things that Dennis really took to heart and kept reminding the other workers, that no matter what the prison system said or did, the patient was the only thing that mattered.
Dennis was on top of everything, you know, in terms of what had to be done. All roads led to him. And he had true respect of the inmates. You know, it wasn't anybody where he was bossy, but he'd been doing it for 10 years, and people respected what he had to say. Well, you know, we've done this or that, and here's what happens, and here's the situation. And he understood perfectly what each of the inmates involved with this program faced, will face, have faced, you know, because he's been there himself. So, maybe empathy, certainly leadership, and a willingness to stand up and say, I can help with that. I'll do this. You know, like the inmate that's currently, you know, was the vice chairman, well now suddenly he's the chair. I don't want to do this. I can't do this. All these fears of, gosh, responsibility. But Dennis just stepped up to the plate and said, yeah, I can, you know, I'll do that. Anyway, one of the guys says, you know, if it hadn't been for Dennis, I wouldn't be here. And I went, well, why is that? Well, I trusted him, I respect him, and he asked me to join. And so here I am. And I went, yeah, well, now that you've done that, what do you think? I'm glad I'm here.
Dennis is a reconciler. I mean, he probably keeps the peace among people better than anybody I know in the prison. And so that's not just in my free office, but that's the way he is. And so he gets along. I mean, Dennis is well liked by everyone. I don't think Dennis has an enemy. If he does, I don't know about him. And he's just got a reputation for restoring peace between people.
Dennis is one that I've seen it happen many times when people get a little bit disgruntled. He's able to explain, talk to them, calm them down. That he's looked up to very much.
I saw so many kids grow up through our 4-H program that when they first got there they were timid and shy and really didn't want to participate. And as the months and the years went by, they would bond with the other children. They would become accepting of their father and his situation. And they would put that aside and say, we're a family anyway. Regardless of where my father is or what he may have done, we are a family. And they grew as a family. You could see the trust grow. You could see the affection for each other grow. It was just an amazing thing that to think that happened in a maximum security prison is just awesome.
I know of his wife and of his stepson. I know he was involved with 4-H to help his stepson out. That you know, he wanted better for his stepson, and that's the way he's been, as far as I'm concerned, with those around him. You know, he's trying to let them know that you're here, and we can't undo that. But while you're here, you can make the best of it. So
they were a family. They were a close family. You could see that, especially when we were working on a craft, we usually did that bi-family unit. They'd huddle together, their heads together, you know, and just chattering away. Dennis would have this idea, and then Reggie would have this idea, and then Paula would get it going. And yeah, they were a family unit, and I believe they were a close family.